What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Bros. Give me 7 games of that, please. Give me 7 games. Well, really, I want 4 if we're going to be honest. But give me a 7-game series that was entertaining as hell. And it's even sweeter when your squad, shorthanded, no James Harden. Obviously, you moved on from Seth Curry and Andre Drummond. So you really didn't have your team. And obviously, those guys are going to be here anyway. But you get my point that right now you're significantly playing undermanned, and here you have it. You go on the road after getting your ass kicked by Boston. You lose by 48. Boston ends up losing to the Detroit Pistons, and then the Sixers go on the road and beat Milwaukee. Make it make sense. This is exactly why I tell everybody to calm down throughout the 82-game season whenever something gets ugly or you think that an outcome should happen, a result should happen, but then you realize, it did it. Don't lose your cool, and I'll keep the same energy right now. Obviously, I'm excited. The game just ended, but I won't let the lows affect me too much. And in the bigger picture, I won't let the highs get way too extreme and way too high, even though in the moment, sure, I have a big smile on my face because that was a lot of fun, and it was awesome to watch Joel Embiid give you 42 points. It was awesome to see Niang's out there cooking. He's cooking not only offensively, but I saw this man defensively too. He's taking a charge, and then at the end of the game, he's right there at the top of the three-point line and feeling easy. He has his presence felt. His presence was definitely felt by the Bucks. That was an awesome move by Doc Rivers. It's clear the pathetic move by Doc Rivers was what we witnessed to start the fourth quarter with Shake Milton and Danny Green and Niang and Millsap and Korkmaz. That was tragic. And I don't know how Doc Rivers can consistently believe deep down that that's a method for success. No, it's problematic. And that almost costed them the basketball game tonight. And that makes me pissed off. I can't stand it. And he does it every single damn game. He makes awful decisions. But this team late came up very clutch. Whether it was Joel Embiid, whether it was Tobias Harris, let's not lose sight of what Tobias Harris did in the beginning stages of the game. Then when it got tied in the fourth quarter, he had that massive and one. And when he got trapped during the late possession, there was a double team right by the baseline. He was able to escape that, slither through, pass it to Niang, who ended up getting fouled and going to the line. So I know that's not the sexiest thing in the world, but that matters. It's fourth quarter. You have to close out. You're on the road. It's hostile. You got people just weighing you down with all their energy. You're getting double teamed, and he was able to make that play. I thought Tobias Harris had some big moments. TYRESE MAXEY in the second quarter. They scored 45 points in that second quarter, and the game changed. So I'll rip Doc Rivers for that horrible lineup, but I have to say, starting Niang, very smart. We kind of said, what? When we saw it originally, but it ended up paying dividends, and it was a massive part of your success. Not only that, when you stop playing Matisse Thybulle, and I was told that his defense is untradeable. This guy is so elite that he's untradeable. He can't play. He cannot play because he cannot play offense. Matisse Thybulle is an issue. All right? I just want to make that very clear. They changed the game. Doc Rivers changed the game when he elected to go to Furkan Korkmaz. Okay, that's how problematic Matisse Thybulle is on the offensive end. At one point, he logged in 14 minutes. He was 0 for 1 from the field and a foul. That's what he gave you. And that stings. That's awful. That's a horrible thing. He cannot play offense, and that will annihilate you. I actually have literally the play-by-play screenshotted from when Matisse Thybulle left the floor in that first half. So there was 4 minutes and 56 seconds to go. Furkan Korkmaz enters the game for Matisse Thybulle. From there, Embiid makes a 16-foot pull-up jumper from TYRESE MAXEY with the assist. TYRESE MAXEY makes 9-foot driving floater. TYRESE MAXEY makes 1 of 2. TYRESE MAXEY makes 2 of 2. TYRESE MAXEY makes 26-foot step-back jumper. TYRESE MAXEY makes 2-foot 2-point shot. Weird way to describe it, but that's what it says. Tyrese Maxey makes 1 of 1. Tyrese Maxey makes 2 of 2. And we continue. Or excuse me, was that an and 1? Oh, that was an and 1, excuse me. Just makes 1 of 1. Then it continues. Maxey makes 17-foot pull-up. Embiid, 14-foot step back. Maxey with the assist. It goes on and on and on. There is a problem with the spacing that Matisse Thybulle, he impacts it in the negative way when he's out there. So I don't know what to tell you. Now, for these games, which happen more than the other ones, he will throw a 6-steal game in there. And I don't want to focus on the negatives. Obviously, Niang hits 5 threes, and Toby had a good game, and Embiid had a good game, Tyrese had a good game. All these players had good games. I'm not trying to harp on the negative, but I do think it's extremely valuable just to note that Doc Rivers pushed 2 great buttons and then 1 awful button. And that 1 button happened to be going to Furkan Korkmaz. He was in the mix defensively, too, with that one. I think he ended up getting like a steal in there. I think the announcer said it was Niang, but it looked like it was Korkmaz on my first vision. He had that rebound, which they ended up calling it a jump ball, but I thought that he had it. I thought he deserved it. So give a little praise to Korkmaz, too. Finally, thank you for showing up. It's been about, 7 or 8 months, it feels like, but I'm loving James Harden on the bench, cheering on Tyrese Maxey, and he's doing exactly what I anticipated, which was, first off, realizing and recognizing how special Tyrese Maxey can be, and then helping him improve in so many different areas. Just wait for the fingerprints of James Harden for more than just a handful of days. You even saw it with Joel Embiid. I don't know which play I like the most. See, every game we can basically go through the Joel Embiid experience. Do you like when he's backing down Bobby Portis and then he faces him up and hits a one-legged jumper? Do you like the step back that he was practicing with James Harden? Do you like that one? Because that was intriguing too. And for everyone who mocked Embiid for what happened against Boston, that's silly because him already trying to attempt it, his first game in action since practicing at Camden with James Harden, that just shows you the intensity and who Joel Embiid is, where he puts his mind to it and he will make it happen. And when the shot clock is expiring in Milwaukee and he just does an outrageous step back at 7 feet tall, a dang, 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 this guy's ridiculous. He's absolutely absurd. He was so damn awesome. So I don't know which one I love the most. There was also the triple team, and he's fading away as he's getting triple team and 1. Finishes through the contact. Let's play this game basically every single show, every post-game show. Which Joel Embiid which play made you aroused? Aroused. That's the word we'll use. Wow. Look, Giannis took a couple threes there late, and I saw that some people were bothered that he was wide open. Tobias dared him, and then he had the mid-range J, and then later on a fast break, he pulled up and made a 3 as well. I'm living with that any day of the week. Sure, Giannis made them, and he made a couple threes, and yeah, it hurt. It hurt you. He's a 30% shooter this season. He's a below 30% shooter for his entire career from 3. He's obviously gotten better at it and more comfortable taking certain shots, but if you're asking me, choose one, pick one, Giannis full speed downhill or Giannis popping a couple threes, I'll live and die with those threes. Just unfortunately, it hit nothing but net. But if I'm playing my number game and my stats game, yeah, Toby, dare him. I don't care. Dare him. Dare him to shoot him. Okay, so we made it. Let's get the basketball and go the other way. Who cares? The fact that they were up 8 points or so, 8, 9 points at the end of the half, I was a little stunned considering they were down and it looked, the game might run away from them. They know they're undermanned. They know they're missing James Harden, but the will, the determination to fight back and to keep going. It's easy after you get your asses kicked by 48 on your own floor at home, and then you know the All-Star break's coming up. It's easy to mail it in. It says a lot about Joel Embiid. It says a lot about James Harden. It says a lot about just the professionalism of this group to make sure, hey, we got a half of basketball left. Do not let this slip. Now, we're going to go to the Anytime Hotline. I see that people are trying to call in. People are trying to get in. I just had to open up the show with the opening monologue here. That's kind of where I'm at emotionally. I see the chat room buzzing. I can't wait to talk to everybody. A couple other things. Paul Millsap looks like he's 23. I need a birth certificate. Now, long term, I don't know. I have no idea what Paul Millsap is going to bring. But he looks hungry, doesn't he? It looks like he wants to play out there. Now, he had that one swat, but there was a whistle prior to that. And what else did he have? When he's running up and down the floor, nice bounce pass as well. I thought Paul Millsap looked spry. I like the word spry to define the action that I saw out of Paul. Now, one game sample size won't change my entire narrative. I have no idea what this age Paul Millsap can bring, but he does look like he has a sense of urgency and a motor that's rolling right now for sure. I'm mad at Charles Barkley too. I know I say too as if I'm mad at Paul Millsap. I'm not. But I am mad at Charles Barkley. And this isn't the first time he said this. He said this as well on the Mike Missinelli show. After the game, he said, oh, people just think James Harden's going to come in here and this team's going to be good. Yes, I expect them to be good. Yes, I do, Charles. Will there be hiccups? No doubt. But he also claimed that Tobias Harris, it would be harder for him, and he's going to start taking more shots and awful shots because he needs his. Stop it. Tobias Harris is no selfish player who's all about him. He's all about the team. He's not dumb. He knows what his role is. He's pretty aware of where he stands on this team. I liked Tobias's game when he was playing early on and he was cashing in and he was aggressive and he was going downhill. I know he didn't make any threes, but I don't want to downplay how in and out some of those went. There were two specifically that come to my mind. They were literally all the way through and then spiraled back out, sort of like Chris Middleton's shot late. You just get lucky sometimes. That's the basketball gods, and that's how this game played out. And I'm happy. It's a good win for this team. Just like when you lose a bad game, it doesn't change the entire narrative. When you win a big game, it doesn't change the entire narrative too. Keep that in mind. Even though we can enjoy this, it's not like I'm taking that away. Let's have fun and let's react to it, but we got to keep it 100, right? It's regular season. You have your bad losses, you have your great wins, and then from there. But I get it because the optimism of James Harden being here on the floor after the break when you can beat teams and hang with Milwaukee, because I was even telling myself, even if the Sixers lose, and maybe this is a flawed mentality for me, but even if the Sixers lose, I can appreciate them hanging and battling and showing their toughness in that atmosphere, shorthanded the way they were against a top team in the East. But you win it, and it even applies more to it. You're even more juiced up about it, as you should, because not only did you hang in there, you accomplished your damn goal, no matter how scary it got with Furkan at the end, and then they get another shot at it. Oh, man, but they did put the clamps down when needed, and I got to give them a big round of applause for what they did for us as Sixers fans. And with that, that's my opening monologue. 856-442-9805. That is where we begin today's show. And now, let's have some fun. Let's have some conversation. We'll go to the Anytime Hotline. Hello, how are you? Welcome. You are on with Broads. Hello. Going once. Going twice. Do you have
Hello?
me? Yes, I got you. Hello.
Hey, bros, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing tonight?
First of all, your energy, I love it.
Why, thank you. I might have chugged a fat Coke before I sat down.
Oh, this was a good win. Listen, I expected us to go 1-1 with these last two games. I said, at least we got to win one of them. I expected to beat the Celtics and lose to the Bucks, but it was vice versa. And that loss, I think that really lit a fire under these plays.
Absolutely. And you know how this team plays. They're motivated. Embiid, when he ends up feeling pain, he lets it fuel him. So you're right. Absolutely. When you know they got embarrassed the way that they did, to expect them to enter this game with a proper mindset, there's no doubt about it that was the game plan and they were going to execute it because they were pissed. I mean, you got your asses whooped by Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Disgusting.
I mean, it's horrible.
Oh, man, but this was a good win to go on a break. That's all I wanted. Like, let's just go on a break with a good record. We third, Harden come back or comes into the fray against the Timberwolves, and it's going to be on.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for taking the time to call in. I like that, though. I like your approach with it. When you think about where they were and how disappointed internally that locker room was, it's clear as day that they were going to head into Milwaukee and say, we're going to win this game. We're going to dominate. And they absolutely 1,000% did. And you go 1-2. It doesn't matter which one they won, which game they lost. They go into the break feeling good about themselves, sniffing themselves. And in a good way, though. There's a difference between cocky and then there's the confidence. And it seems like this Sixers team, knowing they're adding an addition like James Harden and Ben Simmons and all that toxic crap that we had to sit through, for them to enter the break in a good spot, adding a superstar talent, a future Hall of Famer. Let's go. And we got a couple donations coming in. Abe Lincoln says the next Sixers game will feature the beard. Let's go with the $2 donation. And then Joel, or Joel, don't know exactly how to pronounce it. We'll go with Joel just because of Embiid, but it might be Joel. I apologize. Bro, put some Embiid into my veins. Oh, you don't think he's in my veins? You don't think he's in my veins? Let's go back to the phones. Hello.
Hey, bros. It's Max from Indiana.
What's up, Max? What's happening?
Nothing much, man. It was a great game. Got me nervous towards the end, but a win's a win. I love seeing Harden on the bench just coaching up Maxey, and it just goes to show what he can do when he's on the court, if that's what he's doing off the court. Leaves me excited for after the All-Star break.
No doubt. And that was something that, look, when we're analyzing the trade, we automatically think about what does this mean for the pairing of Embiid and James Harden, which is what we should think about. But then when we peel back the layers, okay, what else can this do? Because that's from the surface, and that matters most. Let's be realistic. They're going to be logging in 40 minutes a night together in the NBA postseason. So that's what matters the most. But there is a secondary layer to this, and that's we're watching this kid be groomed by Embiid, Doc Rivers, Sam Cassell. And you add one of the best players the game has seen in this era in James Harden, knowing how much Maxey soaks up like a sponge. I mean, I know it's the secondary layer of thinking here, but dude, this is going to help out Maxey like no other flourish even more than we already thought he was going to.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm sitting here after the game doing the math to find the points per game, see that Embiid's back over Giannis, and that's just a great thing to see as well. I know that's going to change when Harden comes in, but it's exciting to see a center in this day's NBA average the most points per game of anyone.
It almost feels impossible, and thank you so much for taking the time to chime into the show. It feels impossible to think someone who's 7 foot can actually do this the way that he is. And may his numbers go down? Possibly, but guess what's going to go up if that's the case? His assist numbers, because if you're going to bring a double team to Joel, where do you think he's going to kick the ball out? Now, I mean, it could go to the corner and then swing, so then it's maybe a hockey assist compared to an actual basketball assist, but it doesn't really matter. He's going to clearly impact the game. So if his number goes down, it goes down. And it's cool, don't get me wrong, leading the NBA and points per game and doing it for sure. But we know what Joel Embiid cares about. He doesn't give a damn if he drops 12 points and 1 assist and shoots terribly from the field. All he cares about is winning. So if the team's winning and James Harden's picking up some points and he's losing some points but gaining some assists, it don't matter. Joel's got a big smile on his face. I'll never forget Tobias Harris cutting towards the basket. Seth Curry coming around the top of the key, ends up beautiful bounce pass, and here's Joel Embiid just fist pumping and screaming at the ground, letting it roar and nonstop, his emotions pouring out. And it just shows you the level of care that he has for winning more so than just personal stats. And that's just a beautiful sight for sure. Back to the phones we go. Hello, you're on with Broads.
Yo, what's good, man?
Right now, there's a lot good. This team looks good right now, and it puts me in a good spot mentally.
Listen, I got one thing to say. It's the only thing. There's nothing in this universe that is more beautiful, more sexy than Joel Embiid playing basketball right now. It's impossible.
Wait a minute. You don't like my man bun?
I dig it, but it's not Joel Embiid.
All right. Now, what if Joel Embiid had the man bun?
That's 10 out of 10.
I agree.
That's like It has 10 out of 10. Like, that's a perfect duo.
Let
could beat that.
Let me ask you this, all jokes aside. Which Joel Embiid moment? I guess this is sort of our new style of our post-game show. I don't know how long it'll last, but I'm feeling it in the moment. We're going to call it the Joel Embiid which play aroused you moment of the game. Do you have one that stood out to you the most? Is it the step back three?
Step back three is almost a one. But I think the best one was late in the game, fourth quarter, when he drove baseline and hit that little dunk shot and won. Like, that was so big in the game. That was so clutch. Like, to me, that was the best play for him in the game.
Yeah, he had so many. I love when he had Bobby Portis on him and he backed him down low, ended up facing him up in one-legged shot. Yeah, the baseline one where two guys collapse on him and it doesn't matter anyway. He kisses it off the glass. And thanks so much for calling it. You could just go through the dude at 42. And you know what's crazy? And I'm not saying this in any sort of negative way whatsoever. It just, it shows you how numb we are to it. But at one point, I'm looking at the box score. It's like, how many points does he have, right? Because I'm just watching. You get lost in the game. You get lost in the flow. You know, sometimes you just lose count on how many points he's actually at. And then you go back to the box. You go, what? Wait, what? 40? 42? Like, it just seems like another casual day at the office. Normally, like, let's use someone else, for example. If Tobias had 42, if Harden had 42, right? Like, 42! And it just seemed like a casual day, running down the floor, going to the line, playing the game in a simple way, being Joel Embiid. 42 points is an obnoxious amount of points. And the fact that can go by as just another day punching my clock in and I'm paying my taxes, that's outrageous. And it doesn't even make sense to me that we can honestly feel that way after 48 minutes. Oh, yeah, what up for 42? Beautiful, isn't it? Just like the phone lines, just like speaking to all of you. With that, let's welcome in our next caller. Hey, you're on with Broads.
Yo, what's up, bro? How's it going?
I'm feeling great right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the conversation, and I just had a blast watching that team win on the road in Milwaukee.
Can't agree more. Yeah, so this is the 2-1 here. I just want to say some stuff about, my Embiid moment of the game. I was kind of agree with the last caller. I mean, I love the step back three, but, I really liked when Embiid, was hitting those clutch shots. It's just, putting the team on his back and really helping us kind of turn the momentum. I think it was really impactful tonight.
It definitely was, and I apologize. We're just having a little bit of an issue audio-wise. It wasn't too clean. It wasn't too smooth. I'm sure you had a little bit more, but it was just difficult to hear. I agree, though. There's something about a jumper he had a step back early in the game in the first half where he's at the three-point line. Was it technically maybe a 2? I think our Broads media account tweeted it out. By the way, if you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that follow button as well, that like button, I should say. TikTok, Broads Media, Twitter, Broads Media, the whole shebang. Shameless plug. Let's go for it, though. It felt right. But on Twitter, at Broads Media, I forget if it was actually a 3. It might have been a deep 2. But he just creates separation with the defender on him with ease and makes it like it's nothing, and it shouldn't happen that smoothly, and it's nothing but I do feel you're right, because it's just so, I don't want to say unorthodox, but it's so different to see him so versatile, because he'll utilize the back to the basket. It's funny. How many people in this city forever kept screaming at him, I don't want to see him do anything but get on the low block. No, you're wrong. Oh, but he's a center. No. I don't want to hear anyone bitching and complaining. And it's funny, I don't hear anybody saying that anymore. Now, why is that? Because this is the skill set that he has, and he's just executing a little bit better. But he's always had a different style of game. This is not 1980. It's not 1990. And it ain't the 2000s, early 2000s, all right? We have seen this in the making. Now, I wouldn't say that I thought that it'd get to this level of elites, this level of wow, this level of what are we watching? But I mean, let's be realistic. We knew his skill set and his repertoire was filled, and he could go in his bag, not like just the old school centers. Let him do his thing. Let him be Embiid. The fact that he didn't listen to all those frauds out there is why he's where he's at today, and he's basically flipping the double bird to all those dopes who didn't want him to do anything but back down and just play back to the basket. Now, he does that, and that's a part of his game, and it matters when he establishes his low presence, and he does receive the basketball a half an inch away from the basket, and he puts teams in hell because they have to foul him, and you add James Harden to the foul game too. I'm sure it's going to get interesting. Although late, you saw it today where when Joel Embiid tried to get a foul call, didn't. Then the Bucks tried to get a foul call, didn't. And they're both raising their hands and screaming at the referees, "Yo, fellas, let's play some hoops, okay? Let's play some hard-nosed, tough hoops. Don't be relying on just foul calls to execute late down the game. Make your damn buckets." I'm saying that to Embiid as well because I didn't like the way that he tried to just throw his body in there. Both squads. Look, fellas, it's going to change when it gets down to the postseason. Season 2. So let's just sharpen it up and try and be a bit smoother. But my point still stands, which is I love the fact that Joel Embiid didn't listen to any of the clowns that didn't want him to expand his game at all and only wants him to be one-dimensional because for some reason, everything in this world is allowed to grow except for a center in the NBA. That's one of the things in this world, one of few, where people just never want them to be better at their job. They just have one job, be one-dimensional, be a stiff, and do nothing but that. It cracks me up when I watch this kid play. I guess I should call him a guy. Kid's not right when I watch this guy play. Back to the Anytime Hotline. Hello. You're on with Broads.
Joel fucking Embiid.
That is correct. Is that call of the night? That might be call of the night. Joel fucking Embiid. It's a pretty strong statement, and it's hard to disagree with that. Damn, I don't even know where to go from here. That threw me in for a loop, but a great loop. I mean, wow. What? I feel like right now, the way I'm breathing, it's like George Niang after taking one of those charges. George Niang was special tonight, no? He was cooking. He answered a big three. He brought the intensity defensively. He brought it on both ends. Now, I got distracted while I was screaming for about 30 minutes now. I wanted to see what Doc Rivers had to say after the game. Now, I see some tweets here. George Niang said he drove into the paint and lost the ball early in the game. After that, James Harden yelled at him and said, put up 10 threes. That's what you do. Niang ended up taking 10 triples and he made 5 of them. Are you for real? That's actually outrageous. See, this is why I'm glad that I reminded myself and remembered to go to Twitter to see exactly what's happened. See, that's the difference. That's a team that has the proper mindset. And that's the team that has the little things prepared to do the right thing. Like, that matters. That stuff matters. And it's coming from the players. And I stress that a lot, by the way, having the right players, having superstar talent, guys who realize what it takes to win in this league. James Harden telling everybody about, yo, Niang, this is what you do. Go be you. And then he's screaming on the bench at MAXEY, thank you. See, this is why I put the emphasis the way that I do on superstar talent with people with a ton of experience in this league. It's a grown man's league. That stuff matters. Now, obviously, Niang's not some nobody who's never had any run, but it just shows you the value of what I talk about when you pick up real, legit players. Let's see what else happened. Did we get any other quotes from Doc Rivers? Or any quotes in general? I didn't obviously even mention one from Doc Rivers. I don't see any, which is kind of weird. That the only thing I see so far for quotes related is George Niang. But I'll keep my eyes on it. I love that, though. Joel Embiid has 940 in 10 games. Over the last 30 years, the only player with more in one season is Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Russell Westbrook stinks. Russell Westbrook is a horrendous basketball player, and I always thought he was horrendous after he hit one point in his career. Just an absolute fool, if you ask me. But I love that quote. That is just tremendous stuff out of James Harden and George Niang. Just like all you guys give me tremendous stuff on the phone lines. Good evening. You are on with Broads.
Wow, 42, 5, and 14 for Joel, and 12 of those rebounds were defensive. What is there to say? It has not been said yet, man.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's really awesome to see this team. When you go back to what we had expectation-wise when we knew it would be a toxic environment, Ben Simmons wouldn't show his face. I saw this as a team that could win games, but, I never thought that we'd ever be in this position. And then, of course, I never thought we'd get James Harden the way that we did and whatnot. But you just date back to the start of the season and where we are right now. It's been a magical journey for sure. And it all begins with Hans. Without Hans being Hans, you're not acquiring James Harden and making that push the full speed the way Daryl Morey did.
Exactly.
Exactly is correct. We got a $5 donation coming in from Eric. Everyone grow a beard for the playoff run. It's our time. I'm working on it. As you can see, I don't know what we're doing here. We're just letting it rock. We're letting it ride. Same with the flow. Same with the bandana. We're just giving it a how do you do. But maybe I'll keep it up. Maybe I'll keep that 1,000 here, and I'll just keep rocking with it for James Harden. I don't know if I can get to that level of intensity. Normally, I'll use the good old razor at this point and give it a nice trim. I don't know how much longer I can go, though. I'm not going to lie. My dog, I got a puppy. She starts to nibble on it, and she kind of yanks it a little bit. Sometimes it gets caught on some stuff. So I don't know how much I fully love it. But if you tell me that the whole city of Philadelphia agrees it's time, well, then I have to jump on board. I'm not going to be the anti, all right? I'm not going to be the one that doesn't do it. If everybody else is all in, then I'm all in, too. I'm all in, too. I love the way this team played tonight. Thank you, Eric, for the $5. There is a disappointing factor, though. And I don't want to harp on negative, but I have to be objective and analyze where we are as a team right now. There's an issue with Matisse Thybulle. Where was that untouchable defense? It can't be on the floor in certain matchups. You go Niang, you think about size. All right, you give it a whirl. It ended up paying off. But that Matisse Thybulle issue cannot play offensively. Did you see how that impacted a game against a really good opponent? And by the way, when you have to result to Furkan Korkmaz and it opens up the floor that much more for you to operate offensively, Furkan stinks, okay? That's all laid out to everybody who watches the NBA and watches the 76ers. Furkan Korkmaz stinks. And the fact that Furkan Korkmaz is the one that spreads this out the way that it does. Think about what a real NBA shooter would do for you. And someone who's actually consistent, someone who actually is a real threat in this league. But it just shows you that if Furkan is the one that expands what everyone's able to do, TYRESE MAXEY taking it to the rack, hitting a big-time three. I thought that he was so damn electric at that second quarter rate as they were entering halftime. Him and Joel Embiid playing a nice game. Tobias Harris as well. It's crazy what Matisse Thybulle limits you from doing. I'm sorry. It's there. It's real. I'm not just making that up and saying it for any reason. I don't just hate Matisse Thybulle. I like Matisse Thybulle. I do. I like Matisse. But I'm just being honest with what we've seen. Joel Embiid, this is courtesy of StatMuse. Joel Embiid was pretty much double-teamed all night long. He still had 42, 14, and 5, 14 of 21 from the field goal, 3 of 4 from 3, and a W at the Bucks. Literally unstoppable. I don't know how you stop Hans. And you think you're still going to be able to apply that same pressure when James Harden's out there? I'm sorry. It's going to be so much more difficult. It's going to be hard to do. It's going to be brutal and tough if you're an opponent. Now you got to pick your poison. There's going to be times where you try to play one-on-one. You try to play man-to-man. You try and just hold Joel to one guy defensively. Good luck. He'll eat you alive. And then when he eats you alive and he's mowing you down and he's cashing in and he's non-stop dunking in your damn face, you bring the secondary help, and now the ball's kicking around. Now, some nights you don't hit the shots, right? Tonight you made all the shots. The other night against Boston, you couldn't buy a damn shot. Niang missed, Milton misses. Who else missed? Furkan misses, right? Matisse was missing a bunch. So against Boston, you couldn't buy a damn shot. Tonight, there were clips where you couldn't miss a damn shot. So it comes down to, okay, when that happens, will your secondary pieces step up? But the only difference is it's not just secondary pieces at that point. point, it's James Harden. And then guess what happens when James Harden starts cooking and when he starts throwing his shots? And you can't play him man-to-man. You can't play him one-on-one. What do? Well, then you bring pressure and then you start doubling him. Think about what Joel Embiid is then. Think about how open he is and how available he is. Pick your poison. Now, they're not a perfect team. They have holes on their roster. But when you have these special talents, it can take you the distance and it can take you far. And it starts with them. And they can at least put you in a position to compete legitimately. Not half-ass, not you're there. No, when we're talking about this level of elite superstardom, you're legitimately in the mix, and it's real. We can feel it. And I can feel the next caller calling in. I don't know. I try transitions. That's the best I got. Hello, you're on with Broads.
How's it going?
It's going well, man.
Did you hear what Embiid said after the game, like right when it was over? He was saying like how he realized like the other night. So like some players like after a blowout like that, like they'll get in their head or whatever. But Embiid said he looked at the bigger picture and saw that the Celtics were knocking down everything and the Sixers just had a rough night. Like, how does that say like his mindset different from other people in the league?
Yeah,
Simmons,
Ben Simmons' mindset's clearly 10,000% different than Ben Simmons for sure. I think that's a very logical approach, though. And just like obviously tonight, and I mentioned this to kind of start the show, I'm having fun, I'm being goofy, I'm being excited because I'm living in the moment with it. But the big picture approach is, okay, so they got their asses kicked by 48 to Boston. Boston then loses to a horrific, and I mean horrible, Detroit Pistons team the next night. And then the Sixers go on the road without James Harden after they traded Seth and Andre. So they're obviously limited in what they can provide, and they make a lot of their shots, and they beat the Milwaukee Bucks on the road. So, it is what it is over an 82-game season. When you break down a pie chart, there'll be nights that you can't miss. There'll be nights that you can't make a shot. And then really, when you look at the probability after all of it, you realize like, okay, this team is good. Some nights are going to be ugly. Some nights are going to be great. Some nights are going to be who you are. And when you're who you are and is better than the other team majority of the night, you see what you see this season, which is setting yourself up for a nice post-All-Star break run. And I love that approach by Embiid because it's logical and it's not getting too high or getting too low type of feel.
Agree. And another thing, people didn't think Embiid could get any better, but if he can get this step back three down, oh boy, how are you going to be able to stop him? I don't think you'll be able to.
Yeah, it's a great point. I thought last year there was no way for him to get better. I thought last year that this is Joel Embiid. He's playing at an MVP rate. This is Joel Embiid. Yet somehow, some way, here we are, and it's a step back. I mean, trust me, the step back's not the only move that's going to be added to his arsenal. It's not going to be the only move that's added to this Joel Embiid experience. Somehow, some way, he'll plop in something else that we don't even anticipate. Maybe it's even getting sharper at passing. It's clear that he's taking a jump in that area, right? I mean, he's throwing these passes across the court, and the fact that he sees a double team and triple team coming and already knows where to go with the basketball before the play even occurs, and he sees what the defense is throwing in his direction prior to anything even going down. That's such an added bonus to where he was. It's not an added bonus. I mean, it needed to be added. So it's not a bonus part of his game. It needed to happen and change. But the fact that it did as smoothly as it happened, now you're adding a fantastic passer and a half-court guy in James Harden who can help run this offense. I promise you that Joel is even going to get better in just passing the basketball too, which is tremendous. Tremendous. Now, am I going crazy? I don't see anything from Doc Rivers. I don't see anything Doc Rivers related, quote-wise. I think that's bizarre. Let's see here. The only thing that's happening on Twitter sphere, normally it's quotes from Doc. But now, it's just I can't believe he went with that lineup on the bench, and I don't disagree with them. I don't disagree. Going to the bench and rocking a, what was it, Paul Millsap, Niang, Danny Green, Shake Milton, and Furkan lineup in the fourth quarter is just awful. Absolutely awful. Although I did like what Paul Millsap brought, I just don't know one game, I mean, I liked it. It's a step in the right direction. I don't know what he has. He looks like he's got some juice. It looks like he's got some energy, but he's an older guy in this league, and he's got some miles on the tires. Maybe it's just an adrenaline rush. And after the adrenaline rush, we get a real Paul Millsap experience. But, hey, look, for his first real run, I don't count that Boston game as real, legit run because it was such a beatdown and such a bad look for this team that there's really nothing to buy into when the score is what it is when his number gets called. But you're on the road against Milwaukee tonight, and you had some bounce. You had pep in your step. It felt like there was something there with him. That mattered to me, and we'll see if he can grow off of that for sure. People in the chat are saying Doc tried his best to cost us the game. This is from Patrick. I don't necessarily agree with that because if I look at 3 buttons pushed, 2 worked tremendously and 1 didn't. So out of 3, 2 of them were massive. And I can't stand what he does with the bench, but we can't be surprised anymore. We can't act like that's not part of the Doc Rivers experience. That's what Doc Rivers believes in, and he will constantly do that. So we can't expect change. That's Doc Rivers. Now, we could be upset with it and be really hostile about it, I guess, but it ain't going anywhere. He moved on from Matisse Thybulle and went to Furkan Korkmaz, and he started George Niang. So those 2 moves helped you win this basketball game. Those moves, without those moves, I don't think you win this game. So 2 out of the 3 benefited. I'm not some Doc Rivers supporter, trust me. I'm not dying on no Doc Rivers hill and ready to throw a damn party for Doc. But if I'm going to honestly look at the moves that were made today, one made me want to throw up and punch my damn television, throw some haymakers and act like it's a punching bag, literally some uppercuts. But at the same time, George Niang worked. Switching away from Matisse Thybulle absolutely worked. All right, we'll go to the phones. Here we go.
Yo, calling from Virginia. That was a great win. Makes everybody forget about the Boston Massacre 2 nights ago. Now, let's get some rest. Maxey banged his knee a little bit. I think he's okay. Probably a knee contusion. Get him some rest. Get a little more workout in with Harden coming in. Hey, man, let's take it. Later, brother.
Well, thank you for calling in. Yeah, damn right, let's take it. Let's take it, baby. Big win on the road. In terms of Maxey, he's going to have a busy weekend, that's for sure. Look, Joel Embiid was holding his wrist at one point. It continues to get taped up. It's obviously bothering him. And think about this. It's obviously bothering him. Want me to read the stat line again? You want to think about the shots that he made? You want to think about the buckets that were definitely executed at an elite level? You want to think about the pace of play? He's doing this with the wrist that is obviously affecting it. He's in discomfort. Let's say that. This isn't even 1,000% Joel. This is like a 96, 95%. But guess what? 5 more percent of Joel Embiid could even blow our mind more than we already see on a night-to-night basis. But the fact that he's doing it with the hand or the wrist, I mean, look, a lot of guys at this point of the season have something that's lingering, that's something. I ain't worried about Maxey at this point. I love Tyrese Maxey. This kid is so good. Now, do you see the difference? And once again, I'm not trying to harp on it. I'm just looking to be objective here. Do you see the difference in a Tyrese Maxey being labeled untouchable and then a Matisse Thybulle being labeled untouchable? It's not even close to the same category. Not even a little bit. Like, they don't even sniff the same jockstrap. They're not even close. I said it for a while now. I don't know if the job would have got done then, and we know that Daryl Morey wanted to hold on to Thybulle, so I don't know. But I would have taken Seth Curry on this run over Matisse Thybulle. I'm not just overreacting to one game. He'll have his nice moments, and I'll give him his credit when he has those nice moments. And Seth Curry's a problem defensively, no doubt. But there's something about being a scorer and having the ability to score in this league that I just value way more. I also value WinView. And if you don't know what WinView is, it's the nation's leading sports predictor, allowing you to compete in pregame or live contests against other people, not the house. You answer questions about each game before it begins, and you get to play against your family, your friends, your rivals. It's really cool. And I'll give you a real quick example of what these questions are like when you think about the game. So right now there's some hockey. I don't know if hockey's the best to use just considering we're talking NBA, but maybe that's what we will do. Let's see here. Okay, hold on. We got the Rockets and we got the Clippers. Here's an example of what WinView can do. And there's a link in the description, winview.tv/broads. Check it out. Sign up through the app. Sign up through the link and download the app. It will help me out tremendously. Will either team make their next field goal attempt? This is a live one. Will both team record an assist on their next field goal made? The last made shot, whether it's a field goal or a free throw, of the third quarter is a two-pointer. Is it? Yes or no? So it's a little different. It's unique. You can look at point totals for players. Will Giannis score 25 points or more? Will Joel Embiid have over 10 rebounds? Yes or no? There's all these cool questions that are different. Then if you answer the questions better than the person you're playing against, you win the money. Winview.tv/broads. Check it out. Okay, we have some more to talk about here. Back to the phones we go.
Bros, how we doing, man? Jeff from Philly here. Just got to say, absolutely jacked up after that game. Embiid is a freaking monster. I don't know if you saw the Scott Van Pelt show last night, but he was saying that he has a whole nother gear in him. I'm telling you, when Harden's able to facilitate pass the ball to Embiid when he doesn't have four guys on him and he can shoot his mid-range, he's the best shooter on our team. He's just always taking contested jumpers. He's going to be incredible. Let's go, bros. Love your show.
Thank you so much. And you just touched on something that is so important to me. And if you've heard Joel Embiid talk for a majority of this season talking about a second gear, whether it's in-game or maybe the first half was slow, and then he's learning as an NBA professional how to let his body kind of rest within the game. So sometimes he takes his foot off the gas. And it might bother people because it's, the pitchforks and the old school people. You play 200% all the time. Relax a little bit, okay? Okay, let's get woke and let's get back to reality of where we are in 2022, where it's a little bit different than 1965 and playing back then. It's a different lifestyle. So you pace yourself within the 82 games. So there are times in game where he starts out slow in the first half. He lets his body do his thing. And then in the second half, he takes over and annihilates, right? We've seen that so many times this year, and he's been vocal about it. Just think about what this means when the playoffs come around, because he probably has even another step. And even when he does take over in second halves and when he does explode with his foot on the gas, that's not even the full level. Just wait. We think this is outrageous. We think this is unreal. We think this is leaving us in awe and our jaw is hitting the floor and we can't comprehend life and we can't fully digest this massive human being literally performing at such an unreal rate every single night. Just wait until postseason play happens. And then the motivation of James Harden being added to the list too. I mean, come on. You don't think Daryl Morey pulling the trigger on that trade and bringing in a James Harden isn't already going to motivate a motivated Joel Embiid? It'll take him to the next stride. Now let's go to the game logs, okay, of the big man, of the big fella, of Hans, just so we can lay this out. All right, this is starting, what is this, January 14th, 25, 13, and 6, 32, 12, and 3, 32, and 8, 50 and 12, 40 and 13 and 6, 38, 12 and 6, 42, 14 and 4, 26, 9 and 7, 36, 12 and 6, 27, 14 and 6, down night, 27, 13 and 4, down night, 40 and 10, 34 and 12, 25 and 19, 40, 14 and 10, 19, 9 and 6, down night, bad night to the Boston Celtics, and then what you had tonight. That's dating back to January 14th. Can you even put that into words on how nuts that really is? Every single night. Every night. And it's taken a bit of time for him to get here. And that's okay. That makes a lot of sense. But if you take a step back and you really think about how we got to this version of Joel Embiid, it's almost like Think about what you're doing in life right now, and you're somewhere that you always wanted to be. Right? Maybe 5 years ago, you said, I want to work for X, Y, and Z. I want to do this for a living. And then you eventually get there. And you might be in it, right? You're thinking about it too. You're always engaged with it where you never get to fully take a step back. But then take a step back. I remember doing that when I was playing college hockey. I dreamed of playing college hockey my whole life. My first night I got the nod, I remember going, damn, I am playing in an NCAA college hockey game. Think about all those practices. Think about all those off-season workouts. Think about getting in the weight room. All of that to finally get here. It was such a surreal moment. And then Sports Talk Radio, my first show on 97.5 The Fanatic. Here we are. My first show at 97.3 ESPN, right? All of that. My journey on where I'm at in Sports Talk Radio. When you take a step back, go, damn, think about the process of actually getting here. Think about the same with Joel Embiid. When you just remove yourself from the now, from the present, and you just think of all those times, everything we went through, the painful losses, the disappointing times that he wasn't able to be available on the floor. The list goes on and on and on. Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, Brian Colangelo. When it's all said and done, you have James Harden paired together with Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid as one of the best players on planet Earth. It's an incredible journey. It really, really is. Okay. I want to hear from you out there. 856-442-9805 is the phone number to hop on board into the conversation. Hello, good evening. You are on with Broads.
Broads.
Yo.
This is your boy, Greg.
What's up, Greg?
I want to talk about two of my favorite moments from Embiid tonight.
Oh, okay.
Number one, in the third quarter, when he just went on that tear, I mean, it's like, as a defender, you're like, contest a shot. And if he makes a shot, you contest it, shake his hand. Well, Embiid shook a lot of hands all night tonight. I mean, it's just unreal. He just was like, close his eyes, game, ball. It's just ridiculous. And then my second favorite moment, or my first favorite moment, was not the step back. It was a little bit later where I think Ibaka was playing in, and he was on the baseline, and he kind of fake going to the middle of the lane, and he did the shimmy right back baseline, and he had Ibaka like on skates. Oh, he kind of lost control of it, but man, that was beautiful. We just shake and baked him. I wish he was able to get that dunk, but man, this guy is just freaking real.
Those are great moments in the game, no doubt about it. And yeah, when you think about the versatility in some of these moves, right? We're talking about, and thanks, Greg, we're talking about a step back three. We're talking about a shimmy fadeaway. We're talking about a face up, a one-legged shot. We're talking about driving baseline, going towards the rack and drawing defenders. We're talking about and ones where there's 2-3 guys on him. He still finishes and power through. Maybe he makes the bucket, and let's say it's not an and one, but it's also just a shot where the determination brings a foul and there's body contact and there's nothing you can do about it. He heads to the line and scores his points the old-fashioned way. So there's multiple different ways to get it done, but the fact that we sit here and go, well, which one is it? And then we're talking about these absurd ways. There's so many ways. What do you do? And another part to his game that's so incredible this season, and it's another part of his mental approach to the game, is when something does happen. For example, when Allen in the game against Cleveland, when he ends up hurting his back a bit, he looks like he's in discomfort, and then he misses a free throw, and George Niang gets it and passes it back out. He has the hammer dunk. When something happens with another player on the floor, he's not afraid for the next possession to say, I'm going to annihilate you. Give me the ball, and I'll go right at you, right? Sometimes maybe you're embarrassed or you want to just calm down the moment a little bit, so you dish the ball around. You let that moment happen, and then maybe the game just breathes a bit. Out of sight, out of mind. Let 3 or 4 possessions go, and then it somewhat is lost in the sauce because other things occurred from when that moment happened. But no, there's a different element here where if Bobby Portis does something, then guess what? Joel Embiid gets the ball, wants the ball, demands the ball, and then goes right back and attacks no matter who it is. And I think that goes such a long way with, something we've already mentioned a billion times this season, which is Joel Embiid is wired with this whole nother level, and it's the screw you, I'm the best. And okay, I'll put it behind me. There's a cornerback type of method here. You get beat? Okay, sometimes that happens. Sometimes a player has a big play. Sometimes a player makes a nice shot. That's all right. Give me the ball, and I'll make way more shots than you do. That's one nice moment. How about my 15 nice moments? How about my 22 nice moments? How about my 1,000 nice moments? How about I'm the best? How about try it again? Good luck. Because it won't happen. Because you won't execute. Awesome, isn't it? Hopefully I'm not waking up the dogs screaming in the basement, going bonkers. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes I can hear them bark.
Yo, bros, what's up? Took the win tonight. Yo, check this out real quick. Chris Middleton plus 15 points. Tobias Harris plus 15 points. Drew Holiday plus 15 points. Giannis over 30.5. Joel Embiid over 30.5. And TYRESE MAXEY 15 points and above. I bet $6.29 and hit $100.
Wow. Hey, that's a nice day at the office. That's nice. Congratulations on that. That's a nice little bet to hit. Now, I'm not big. For me personally, those aren't the bets that I target, but that's nice. That's a nice little how do you do in one of those, but hey, maybe you can go, I don't know, treat the significant other for a nice dinner. Or you get a little surprise. Maybe you buy a Joel Embiid jersey. Take that $100 and have a nice little day at the office. Maybe go to Dave & Buster's, play some games. I always enjoy. That's a nice little how do you do. Grab some beers with the fiance. Go to Dave & Buster's. Do something nice with that. Get an Embiid jersey. Maybe go to a Sixers game. Go to StubHub. Get yourself some tickets for the next Sixers home game after the break. James Harden on the floor. Maybe, just maybe, utilize promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout. I'll save you $20. You could put that right towards your parking or your drinks at the stadium. Just saying, just spitballing. Felt like there was an opportunity there to throw that in. Maybe you go to the game. Promo code BROADS, right? Promo code BROADS. I just really want to thank everybody who's hanging out tonight and kicking it with us, everyone who called into the show, everyone who's chatting in the chat room. Thank you. I love you guys so much, all the support. It is just amazing. SeatGeek. Did I say something else? The chats, did I say something else? Uh-oh. Now I'm getting nervous. All right. Let's just pretend something didn't happen if I did make a mistake. SeatGeek, promo code BROADS. Anyway, let's hear from you. Hello. Okay, nothing like getting a little nervous as you enter the phone lines. Nothing to be nervous about. We're just having some conversation. Ah, damn it, I did say something else. SeatGeek. It's definitely SeatGeek. Awkward. Not good. Not good at all. That's bad. That's bad work by me. That's actually terrible. Absolutely horrendous. That's Matisse Thybulle's offense. Sorry, I had to do it. Had to take a jab. That's Ben Simmons' offense. That's Ben Simmons in a half-court set style out of me. That just shouldn't happen. Amadeo calling in, though? That should happen. What's up, Amadeo?
Come on, man. It's SeatGeek. Get it right.
I know. What we should do now, see, when you make the mistake, and I blame you because you mentioned it in the chat, even though I'm glad that you did because I at least can fix it. We should already just move past it by now, but here I am for maybe the 5th minute still continuing to bring it up. But shame on you because you did this to me. But you did the right thing at the same time.
It's not my fault. What do you mean?
I don't know. I'm blaming you. What are your thoughts tonight?
Basically, just Joel fucking Embiid, man. Dude's a beast.
I know. I've never seen anything like this where, and I'm naturally going to get up for a Milwaukee Bucks game anyway, but when you think about 82 games and how invested we are, and look, we love the Sixers. We're invested anyway, but there is something to be said about the random games that you normally just have as background noise when you're folding laundry or whatever, cooking dinner, doing the background noise games now turn into, I can't miss a dribble when this guy is on the floor because I might miss something that is so sensational and amazing in the NBA world that I don't care if it's the Magic, I don't care if it's the Pistons, I don't care if these teams blow. I'm not missing a second of Joel Embiid, and it just says a lot about the work that he's put in.
Exactly. That's just the magic of must-watch television and how much of a star and just superstar actually Joel Embiid has turned to. It's just unreal in what he has developed into, how much he has grown his game maturity-wise and just pure dominance.
Now, how much does this tickle your fancy compared to, let's say, the Flyers game you attended tonight?
Oh God! Don't.
I'm sorry.
Gary Mayhew does not compare to Joel Embiid.
I don't know.
Okay?
I don't know. You brought up the mistake I made. I'm bringing up the mistake you made by spending your time and your hard-earned money. And time is money, Amadeo. You went to the Flyers game to watch that crap, and you support it over the greatness of one Joel Hans Embiid. I'm sorry. I just had to call you out, Amadeo. Had to call you out. Bro's ripping on Matisse right now like he's the reason for the Sixers' loss. They didn't lose. They won the game, but he's unplayable. I'll be the first one to comment when Matisse has I've said that 7,000 times already today, that there's going to be he had 6 steals. He has good defensive games. There's no doubt about it. But, I mean, it's clear, too, that his offensive game just limited him to playing in a game against one of the top opponents in this game. Now, in this league, I should say. He had a good game against Boston earlier this year. He had a good game against the Warriors this year. He has good defensive outings, no doubt. But to act as if that offensive game will not murder you, and I mean murder you to the point where he can't play, and the fact that his limitations is now hurting this team when he knows he needs to get better shooting the basketball, that's going to impact what this team can run. And when you get mad that Danny Green's playing and you get mad that Niang's playing minutes, they're playing minutes because Matisse Thybulle can't stay on the floor. So when you scream at Doc Rivers, I can't believe he had to play Danny. I can't believe he put in Danny. I can't believe he put in Furkan. Well, he's forced to because Matisse can't score. Because Matisse can't play. That doesn't mean he'll never have a good game. It doesn't mean he'll never have an impact on the defensive side. That doesn't mean he'll never be a player that we recognize afterwards and go, he had an imprint on this game. That will 1,000% happen. That is obvious as obvious can get. But that doesn't mean that this issue isn't a more of a common theme. This is terrible. It's terrible because we're a lot of years in now. It's not year 1. It's not year 2. We've been involved with Matisse Thybulle for quite some time now, and the fact that it gets worse every single season. It's getting worse. Sorry, I have to point that out as problematic. I just do. Anytime Hotline. Good evening.
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I have a bit of an adrenaline rush. And honestly, I'm looking down at the clock. It's almost 12:30 in the morning. Wow. Did not realize that till right now.
Time flies, bros. I just had a quick question for you.
Hit me.
So with the addition of Harden and as many free throws as may come with a game with Joel Embiid playing, how many free throws do you think we'll average with Harden and Embiid starting soon?
Yeah, you're definitely going to have a lot. There's no doubt about it. But you also got to remember, and when you're playing with a big man, right, it's natural that the refs are going to call a lot more in the paint because they know that he's a beast and he's a problem for a lot of teams to defend. But, I mean, let's say this. Embiid's going to still go to the line a lot, but then there's going to be possessions that Embiid would normally take that James Harden is now taking. So I feel you're still going to have a lot. It's just maybe it's not Embiid having 18. It's him having 12 and Harden having some of his 18 now go to Harden, if that makes sense. Because, some of these possessions, it's not like Embiid's going to have maybe he does. I mean, in theory, from a distance before we see it, he's going to take some less shots because Harden's going to be taking some shots. So it'll even out to an obnoxious amount as a team. But instead of Embiid having the same amount, it'll probably be taken away a little bit and then Harden gets some. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining that as smoothly as I would like, but I hope that makes sense.
No, that makes sense clearly, bro. So I think that especially with adding Harden and maybe losing shooting on Curry's end, do you think that Danny Green might step up with the 3-ball shooting?
I hope so, man. I've held on to this experience with Danny Green, because last year he started out so slow, and then eventually he was a crucial part to the success of the team where things actually fell apart when he wasn't available. But I don't know. I mean, at some point you just hit a wall, and Danny Green has had open looks a lot this year. Now, I actually said this to someone the other day because there was someone who brought up in the chat that Danny Green misses everything. Nobody's going to really respect him. And, when you watch him play, that feels right. But then I looked it up. He's shooting 38.3% this year from three. It feels like he's shooting 7%. So he still is making a decent amount. It just doesn't feel that impactful. So, I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'll go with the whole, you better show me before I buy into it. But the numbers aren't as bad as the eye test, which is kind of crazy.
That is crazy. I'm surprised he has a positive percentage, but that's all I got for you, bro. Thank you so much for answering the question.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling in. That's a great call. Thank you. I don't know what Danny Green is going to be. He can make wide open shots. At the same time, he's missed some real good looks, and he's missed some golden opportunities for sure. And at this point, I just feel that we are somewhat in an area where by now we're at the All-Star break, okay? And I don't know, is it going to be enough of a reset for him at the All-Star break to maybe get a little bit better, get a little bit sharper? I mean, the optimistic view would be absolutely. He's been around the block for a while. He's been running a lot. He's got a lot of, miles poured out there. But I think we kind of know what he is. And 38.3%. I'm blown away seeing that's good numbers. League average is what, 36 maybe? NBA player league average from three. I think it's about 36. 34. Oh, that was 2019, 2020. Let's go to 21, 22. The average 3-point, this is by team though, right? Per team. So that's completely different. Is 35. Is it different? It feels different to me saying that. Maybe I'm an idiot, though. I'm looking for like a player. 35. It's coming in around 35. So it's above. It's above by a couple percentages. Pretty crazy to think about for sure. So with that, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. We hit the All-Star break, so no games for a little bit of time, but that does not mean we are going to stop the conversation anytime soon. We got tomorrow, we got the weekend, no games for the next couple of days, but I want you to be aware that we will be going live. We will be having some fun combos still. We'll be taking anytime hotline calls live. We'll be doing the text message board, the chat rooms, so be aware over tomorrow, over the next couple of days, we will continue all the fun topics and all the fun dialogue. I know baseball is a hot topic because of the MLBPA. I know the Sixers are obviously still going to be fun to talk about. So just be aware that I will continue to be discussing it with you. I'll be continuing to take your phone calls, and I'm having a blast with all the live streams. So I'm looking at the schedule in front of me. We're going to have a couple days with no games, but be aware, be aware, be aware. With that, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button. You're hitting that thumbs up. You're supporting on social media, Broads Media on TikTok, Broads Media on Twitter, on Instagram. You guys are the best. I can't thank you enough for all the fun that we've been having and for the fun tonight. And I will see you next time.